Now in Paris, Naz in the south of France, and me in the north of France.
I'm actually
Okay.
in India right now and it's 9.
Okay.
Oh,
Didn't know that.
9 p.m. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, such an international company. Anyway, thank you for joining us. So we'll do a user test. Is it the first time you do a user test at Dataiku?
Yep.
Okay, good. That's a very good experience. This test will be recorded and live streamed with our developers using YouTube sharing like we do for internal conferences. Uh, Please tell us if you are okay with that. Is it all right for you?
Yeah, that's fine.
So maybe
Yeah.
nobody here, or maybe one, two, three, four developers are watching the feedbacks you will give us, which is very good for
Okay.
the design phase. So the idea is that we'll tell you some tasks to perform on a test instance. Feel free to tell
Mm-hmm.
whatever you think, to think aloud. There are no right and wrong answer. We are not testing you. We are testing the feature we are currently designing. And Naz, are you okay to start with chart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So we can start with charts. I sent you a link in the chat for the instance. So if you can open it with also the credentials I sent, and if you can please share your screen and we can start. Yeah. Can you all see my screen? Yes. So yeah, you can go into the project of energy consumption. And here we'll select the data prepared file. Can you see it? This one. Okay. Yeah. All right, and we'll go to the chart tab, please. And here we have already prepared a pivot table for this one. So this pivot table shows you the consumption average per day and temperature average per day by date and by industry, actually. You can take a look. And I'll ask you some task about the conditional formatting. So the idea will be to find this conditional formatting and the color cells accordingly that I will tell you. Okay, you already did. Great. So the first task will be to color the cells consumption per day average that are above 60 with a red background. Consumption average per day that are above 60. All right. Now the idea is to color the cells of temperature the temperature per day average that are below 5. And this time it will be a blue background to highlight the cold days. Okay, great. Now the third task will be this time to color the cells of temperature per day average, this time to purple, when the consumption per day of previous day was below 60. Okay, so the average consumption, and so basically it's a color coding based on the two different metrics, right? Yes, we want to color the cells of temperature per day when the consumption per day of the previous day was below 60. And don't hesitate to think aloud just to understand your thinking.
Oh, okay. So here is the metric that I'm looking for, right?
Okay,
So,
yeah.
so basically, I need to be able to add a color group with this metric here.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I need to show it here. No. Sorry, it looks like I'm having some issues. Is this my Wi-Fi? Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you. I don't know if you get an error. And if you reload, what it makes if you reload, it doesn't.
Do we need to be connected with Tayscale?
I'll check the instance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It's maybe because we updated it.
Could we try the other instance of Explorer?
This
check.
this part only works in the chart instance, actually.
Yeah,
Okay.
this one is not. Yeah, I don't know why it's not working. 2 seconds.
But if you want, we can switch to the Explorer and come back to the chart when it will work, okay?
Yes,
Not
let's do
real,
that.
but maybe, yeah, just to not lose some time, we can
Yeah,
do
we
it.
could save time like that, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
All right.
to be back in a couple of minutes. Monk.
Okay.
Sorry for this.
Yeah, sorry about
Problem.
that. I'm sending you a link to the other part of the test with credentials, the classical admin, and a more complex code like this. Okay, now please go back to the homepage of DSS and open the energy consumption project.
This one?
Yeah, go to the flow. And now please open the dataset on the top left of the screen, the dataset. Yep. So what you can see on the data table is there are some colors. Can you please find where these colors are set up, where you can find the rules behind this coloring system?
Colored by rules, display. Here. Conditional formatting.
Okay. All right. What does the color by rules wording means just on the left of the display button?
Colored by rules.
Why is it written this color by rules sentence?
Because it means that the colors that apply here are based on the rules that are set in the conditional formatting, versus if I select this one, it's based on the validity of like this thing.
Okay,
Yes.
sounds good to me. All right, now let's play a little bit with that. You will escape this dataset and go back to the flow. And now you will open on the top right of the project another dataset. So you go in the flow. In the flow, the dataset on the far right, on the top, this one. Okay, so this dataset, it's data about hotels and industry, about their consumption of energy per day, and also the related temperature. What I'd like you to do with that is to highlight all the rows that are related to hotels.
To highlight all the rules. Sorry, to highlight all the rules that are related to hotels.
Yes, as you can see, there are rows in this data set.
All the row. Okay. All the rows that are okay. So here I have hotel versus chemical industry. So I'll add a new group. Oops. Rules. Format if columns.
When you were selecting here in the first drop-down menu, you selected everything. Can you tell us why?
So here I understand that I need to highlight all the rows where the nav code is hotels.
Okay.
So I think that I need to color code all the columns that correspond to a row where the nav code is hotel.
Okay, that's interesting.
But maybe I just need to select the nav code. Okay, and then apply this thing, color rows with rules defined for this column. Equals hotels. Okay, and then let me check. Yeah.
All right. I'm taking notes. To buy going so all of them. All right, that's good. Now, tuk. Now, I'd like you to apply a red on the cells for the temperatures for either temperature day and temperature previous day. Every time there is a temperature under 5 degrees, I'd like you to use the red color.
Just for these columns or for the whole row?
Only for these columns. Temperature day, temperature previous day. Red when below 5 degrees. Or let's say blue because it's cold. Does it work?
So no.
What happens here?
Temperature previous day or temperature day. Format if columns below 5. Okay, so I think it conflicts with my first rule. So it needs to be in the same group. Let me try. No, because if it's the same group, then it applies to the same column. So I guess I need to drag this here. Okay, it seems to be working now.
Why wasn't it obvious at first?
I think it's No, I think it is kind of obvious. It's just that as I was instructed in like the steps in this sequence, I hadn't thought about it before. But then I guess here what I would expect is that the rest is also in green.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. All right. Good point. Now you'd like to make the consumption row more explicit by applying some gradient on it. This way, the value in consumption will be easier to understand.
Okay, consumption, I want to put a scale.
Okay.
But then here, scale, and I don't have any way to choose the color or anything. Or maybe, let's see. Okay. Okay, so basically first I need to apply all the color coding that is column by column before doing this color coding that applies to the whole row, because otherwise this would take the priority. Okay, so here, where can I change the color? Is there a way to change the color of the scale?
I don't know. What do you think?
I would hope there is, but let's see. Rules.
No, it's not developed yet, but it will be in the future.
Okay.
All right, so we are at the end of the test for this section of the feature. Can you tell us what was the more difficult for you and what was the easiest? What did you enjoy the most and the least?
So I think it's a great feature. I think it's going to be very useful. So thanks a lot for working on that. I think it's pretty intuitive. I just think that the first time you play with it, you need to play around a bit to understand what takes priority over the other things. But I don't think anything is very complicated. Maybe, yeah, so the groups versus the rules. I guess that a group applies to a certain set of columns. And then when you just add a new rule to a group, it applies to the same column. So I think it's the only thing that you really need to understand. But I don't think it's really complicated.
Yeah, so you need to understand the hierarchy and of information.
Yeah.
How could we reinforce this feeling of hierarchy?
Maybe just a little help text saying that groups apply to the group of columns where you apply the color scale or the color coding.
Sorry?
Maybe just a little help text when you hover your mouse on the add new group, for example, that explains that the groups apply to the group of columns where you want to apply your color coding.
Okay, so tooltip, let's say if you create this, it will be applied to this.
Yeah.
Can you rate on a scale of from 1 to 5, 5 being very good and 1 very poor, the state of development of this feature?
I'd say 4.
Okay. And what we missed to reach the 5?
So I think it's yeah, mainly about the priority between the different rules. And so here, for example, the last rule not applying to the previous rules when there is no color coding applied.
Okay.
So here, for example, do I have a way to say if none of the first 2 rules apply, but the third does apply, that the third rule would still apply, if that makes sense.
Like it was transparent layers, somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are thinking about that, but it's a
Okay.
bit complex. Compliments.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, we definitely will think about that. All right,
Okay.
thank you. Naz and Marion, it is working back on your
Yeah,
side.
yeah. We can switch
Okay,
back. It
great.
should work now.
Let's do that.
Okay, so we were in the stage. We colored our above 60 and below 5. And now what I asked you was to color the cells of temperature per day in purple and when the consumption per day of the previous day was below 60.
Temperature previous day. Okay, sorry, can you say it again?
Yeah, so color the cells of temperature per day. So we want
Temperature per day, okay.
yeah, temperature. We will color the temperature per day in purple, but when the consumption per day of the previous day was below 60.
Consumption previous day. So here I need to color the temperature per day.
Right.
So I would expect that I need to add a rule to this temperature day group.
Exactly.
But to add a rule that is based on another column, which if value, which I don't seem to find here because I feel like here the rule can only apply to the column that you're coloring.
Okay, so I'll let you discover a bit more this area, maybe.
Ah, okay, based on another
Okay,
column.
yeah, but it wasn't visible at first glance from what I see. Yeah.
So consumption previous day. So I don't even need it here.
Right.
Below 60?
It was below 60, right? And in purple, but it can be, yeah, anyway.
Okay.
All right. Yeah,
Okay.
that was it. So do you have any feedback about? I think you, but yeah, couldn't find
Yeah,
it.
so I think I didn't see this at first. Yeah.
How would you expect it? How would you improve? Do you have any idea? Any feedback about?
I think I would put that in the rules section.
Okay.
Because basically the color coding applies to this column, but then the rule, like this is the rule section, so this is where I would expect to choose which column applies to the rule.
So the mapping with the rule is not very explicit in a way.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. All right, so the previous task will be, next task will be to color the entire table this time based on the temperature of the previous day and with a gradient.
Okay.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah. So you choose to go to the advanced one and to select all the values and to apply the color, right? With the
Yeah.
scale. Okay. And do you see any other possibilities that we can do it?
Oh yeah, unique scale, temperature previous day.
Yeah. And would that make sense, or do you think that it's kind of redundant feature? I don't know. I would like to hear what you think about this too, Ready Button.
Yeah, I think it definitely makes sense. I think here, as we only have two measures, like it's very easy to go to advanced and just select two. But if you have a lot of different measures, it definitely makes sense to use that.
Okay, and would you expect to see, so does it make sense to have unique scale and advanced like this
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
first?
actually, this is something that we need in a lot of dashboards. And for example, today we do most of our dashboards in Tableau, and this advanced feature is something that is really not straightforward at all. Although it's something that we really need to use. So yeah, I think it definitely makes sense.
And what do you think about the wording of the radio buttons?
Yeah, I think unique scale makes sense.
Mhm.
Advanced, it's like you don't really know what is in advanced. Format data based on specific conditions. Here, I guess I would highlight the fact that you can format the different columns or like the different values with different rules.
Okay. And maybe also an information with tooltip maybe added.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great. Thank you. So now the last task that I would ask you would be to differentiate the temperature and consumption variation. So we want to color the temperature per day with a blue gradient and the consumption with a red gradient. Okay, yeah, thank you. That was it. So we are done with the different scenarios. Overall, what do you think about this new way of coloring pivot table?
It's great. Yeah, I think it's very valuable. Here on the gradients, is it possible to like select? Yeah, okay, I guess it's here. So scale mode. To say, for example, to set like a min and a max and a middle point.
It is about a palette type. If you go to the palette type, yeah, on the above and diverging, yeah, this is what you mean. Yeah.
Okay, so here you can select the middle value, but then, okay.
The min and max, yeah. Can we set the min and max? I don't think so, right? The min and max would be by default.
Yeah, so I'll need
Or-
to But by default, the mean, like it takes your mean value and your max value, and it applies it to the mean and max of the gradient.
Because here, I guess the issue is if we have outliers. So for example, let's say 99% of my values are between 0 and 10, but I have one value that is minus 100, then it would completely change the color scale.
Yeah, that's a good feedback, like more advanced options of variance,
Yeah.
of gradients for the scale.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, anything that you appreciate like this or you didn't appreciate that you want to share with us? We can improve.
I think it's great. No, I think it's a really great step for our pivot tables features. So thanks a lot. So is this available for us yet in the analytics instance?
No, not yet.
No,
It will become soon, yeah.
So
Okay.
of the feature was released in 13.3, but that's the second version of the feature.
Okay.
And yeah, anything that you would ideally change, like you mentioned for the scale? Any other improvements to
Is
your
it
mind?
possible to have some rules based on the formulas? Like I haven't really played with it yet, but let's see.
No, it's
Okay.
like restricted in this. Yeah. Do you expect to have some formulas here?
Yeah, I think if an advanced option could be to have formulas here instead of just the basic operators, that would be helpful.
Okay,
Good.
we'll note it. Anything else like this could be interesting to mention?
I think that's all that comes to mind now, but let me know when it's released, and I'm happy to play with it more and to give more feedback.
Yeah, sure. And don't hesitate to reach us if anything comes to your mind. We'll appreciate. Thanks a lot for your time. And lastly, how would you note it from Miss Clay to 1 to 5? So
I would also say a 4.
4, okay. And yeah, you mentioned already the improvements to reach the 5 then. Okay, thank you. Thanks a lot for the interview and your time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
you.
Have a
Bye.
good day. Bye.
Bye.